like to welcome you to the December 1st, 2022 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Margraf. Mr. Long.
Here.
Ms. Linda. Here.
Do we have any conflict of interest statements?
None.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the meeting of November 17th, 2022.
I'll make a recommendation that we approve the minutes for the meeting of November 17th.
November 17th, and I'll concur. Number 5, bid opening. There are none, but we do have a legal notice of sale of real estate for 6235 Monroe. We are just acknowledging the legal notice. The only proposal was from an adjacent owner. Boards accepted a $225, is that a proposal, Linda? Proposal? So we're just acknowledging that, that's all. Okay, she needs to make a recommendation?
Do I need to make a recommendation?
Okay.
I'll make a recommendation that we approve the legal notice
6235 Monroe.
6235 Monroe.
You need to approve the bid.
The bid?
Right.
Of that $2,500?
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll make a recommendation that we approve the bid for
35.
Monroe.
Okay, I will concur. Okay, matters from other department heads or their representatives? Nobody? Let's move on to correspondence. Letter A, correspondence received from Dean Button, Capital Improvements Board, requesting $18,600.52 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Chicago Street Phase 1, change orders number 11, adjusted, and 32 through 36 with Indiana Department of Transportation submitted for approval.
So there are triplicate copies of each of those for your consideration. The Capital Improvements Board met prior to the Thanksgiving holiday and has approved the funding allocation for these change orders, as has the city controller and the mayor. These are very close, if not the last group of change orders for this project. And there was one more point I was going to make. Well, we'd ask for your consideration for your approval. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will point out that they are signed by the CIB board, also the controller and the mayor.
Okay, I will make a recommendation that we approve Dean Button's request for CIB funding to be allocated for the Chicago Street Phase 1.
And I will concur. Letter B, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $6,376.96 of CIB funding to be allocated for the supplemental pavement preservation, crack sealing with site services submitted for approval.
We have an annual crack sealing project. The budget was $600,000. We went over that a small amount. Capital Improvements Board met the week before the holiday, the Monday before the holiday, and has approved that, as has the mayor and the city controller. We'd ask for your approval.
Okay, and again, I will point out that it's been signed by the controller and the mayor.
Okay, I will make a recommendation that we approve Dean Button's request for $6,376.96 of CIB funding to be allocated for the supplemental pavement preservation.
And I will concur.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter C, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $35,905.11 of CIB funding to be allocated for the City Hall video surveillance improvements and quote with Vermilion Systems submitted for approval.
Trying to improve the security of City Hall. There was some recent vandalism to some vehicles, not fairly recently, and so we're just trying to improve our video surveillance. Capital Improvements Board approved it a week ago Monday, and we'd ask for your approval.
Okay, and again, it's been signed by the city controller and also the mayor.
Okay, I will make a recommendation that we approve the request for $35,905.11 of CIB funding to be allocated towards City Hall video surveillance improvements.
And I will concur.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter D, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting the approval to install signs at the request of the Safety Director, John Suarez, of the School City of Hammond to be installed near their Welcome Center at Columbia School.
My understanding from the school city that Columbia School has reopened as a Head Start facility and bookkeeping record storage facility. And so they are having children attend the school, and so they asked if we could install some speed limit signs and some missing one-way signs on Indiana Street, and makes very, very clear sense to do so. So I put a plan together. We want you to ask that you would approve this and forward it to Public Works for placement of the signs.
Okay.
I will make a recommendation that we approve Dean Button request the approval to install signs at the request of the Safety Director, John Suarez.
And forward to Public Works.
And forward to Public Works.
Gotcha. And I will concur.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jeff, this reminds me of, what's that word we were talking about earlier?
Onomatopoeia?
Yes, onomatopoeia.
Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Letter E, correspondence received from Chris Campbell, Director of Information Technology, requesting the approval of the amendment to the city's contract with Tyler Technologies submitted for approval.
Do we need anybody else?
Any issues? We're good?
We're good? Okay. I'll make a recommendation that we approve Chris Campbell's request.
And I will concur. Letter F, correspondence received from the Knights of Columbus, number 1696, requesting the following for their annual pierogi drop event for December 31st, 2022. Street closures from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the 1900 block of Atchison Avenue from 119th Street to the alley behind the hall, Atchison Avenue from Indianapolis Boulevard south to 119th, north and south sides, additionally requesting no parking on 119th Street and Atchison Avenue from 4 p.m. through 1 a.m. and requesting 8 traffic control yellow horses for this event.
So we're going to have to get this over to Public Works.
Yeah, have they done this before, do you know? They've done this before, so no issues? Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Do we have to get it over to Public Works? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make a recommendation that we approve the Knights of Columbus request and get this over to the Public Works Department.
Okay, and I will concur. Letter G, correspondence received requesting rental registration hearing. That's the date.
Okay. All right, I will make a recommendation that we move a status for December 15th, 2022.
Yeah, just setting that hearing for that day.
Set a hearing for the, December 15th, 2022.
Okay, and I will concur. Letter H, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting the approval of change order number 2 that will result in net decrease of $146,020.26 for the community crossing project on 165th Street from Columbia Avenue to Summer Street.
Thank you. It's not often we have a deductive change order,
The same thing.
which is a good thing. So this is the Community Crossings Project, a 50-50 match between the INDOT, State of Indiana Department of Transportation, the City of Hammond for 165th between Columbia and Summer Street. The project's done. We're just asking for your approval. The money, $150,000, $164,000 goes back to the CIB board for reappropriation for future projects.
Nice.
Really nice, yeah.
Thank you. I will make a recommendation to approve Dean's request.
Thank you.
And I will concur. Do we have any matters from board members?
I have nothing, Jeff.
Okay. Number 9, new business. Letter A, request for advertising dates of December 8th, 2022 and December 15th, 2022, with a bid opening date of December 29th, 2022 for the demolition of the following properties: 4916 Ash, rear, 1806 Brown Avenue, 1414 Calumet Avenue, commercial building, 530 Conkey Street, commercial building, 843 Logan Street, 6844 Missouri Avenue, 7925 Nevada Street, Industrial Park, Commercial Building, 4919 Pine Avenue, 1101 Roosevelt Street, 848 Truman, 1429 Truman, 5554 Walter Avenue, and 1137 150th Street.
Okay, so what do I do, just approve the request? Okay.
For the request, the advertising dates and the bid opening date.
Okay, I will make a recommendation. We approve the request for advertising dates and demolition dates.
And I will concur.
It should have been bid opening date.
Oh. Oh, bid opening date. Oh, for the demolition. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we approve the request for advertising dates and bid opening dates.
And I will concur. And thanks for making me not say that again. Letter B, funding allocations request received from 6th District Councilman Scott Rakos requesting $10,000 of gaming fund to be allocated for the 6th District French drain submitted for approval.
Councilman Rakos has requested additional French drains to be installed. The funding allocation has been approved by the councilman, the city controller, and the mayor. This is a program we do fairly regularly, and we've done quite a few in the 6th District this year, but he has a couple more that he needs done. Nice Engineering, Chris Moore, has helped us with the bidding and the process. It's already been bid out. We just have additional work that can be completed that's being requested. Ask for your approval of the funding allocation.
Okay.
Okay, and the request was also signed by the council and also from the controller and the mayor.
Okay, I will make a recommendation to approve Councilman Scott Rakos's request for $10,000.
And I will concur.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter C, Robertsdale access agreements for property located at 2141 Atchison Avenue submitted for approval.
This is for the Robertsdale lead remediation project. You've seen, 20 of them probably this year. Just an ongoing process to remediate the lead impacted soil in Robertsdale.
Right.
In that Lakeview Atchison area. So we'd ask for your approval.
Okay.
Okay, I will make a recommendation to approve the Robertsdale access agreement for property located at 2141 Atchison Avenue.
And I will concur. Letter D, disposal authorization submitted by the Hammond Police Department. Yeah. Just verifying there's vehicles on it.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't have to spend a great deal of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will make a recommendation to approve the disposal authorization submitted by the Hammond Police Department.
And I'll concur. Letter E, we're awarding for the towing contracts are as follows. Zone 1, Herrera's Towing. Zone 2, McCoy & Sons Towing Service. Zone 3, Woodmar Auto Care and Towing Incorporated. Zone 4, State Auto Body Incorporated, and Heavy Towing, Birch Towing.
I will make a recommendation to approve all the towing contracts for the following zones: Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, and Zone 4.
And I will concur. Letter F, right-of-way permits. There are 2 submitted for approval by the Engineering Department. My favorite time of day. Mark, how are you?
Everybody's, thank you, thank you. So there's 2, one being for Passion, Nickty, Ogden, and Lyman. They need to close that for a sewer tie-in for approximately 2 weeks. And I like to report, everything else is open.
Nice.
Conkey Street, 65th, everything else. And there was another one that, there must have been a snafu along the way, but Mr. Button took it back up here. It's McCook and 65th. They were doing some borings. I thought I brought this up here. I remember talking to them about it. But it's just a day closure, and they're not digging in the roadway, so, but for the safety of it. So
Okay.
I would like that approved,
Okay,
or recommend approval. Thank you.
gotcha. Thanks, Mark.
All right, I will make a recommendation to approve the right-of-way permits submitted by the Engineering Department.
And I will concur. Let's see here, letter G, plat of Park 24, Hammond at Marble Street, Hammond, Indiana, submitted for approval. Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Good morning.
Brian.
I don't know if you really need me to say anything, but we're asking you to approve a two-lot subdivision for the property at 24 Marble Street. This is related to the new industrial building that is being built. One of the things that this plat takes care of is it properly rededicates Marble Street. It was a street that was dedicated in the 1890s that got lost in a lot of the title records, and it wasn't showing up. So we're clarifying that and getting the street properly dedicated.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, I will make a recommendation to approve the plat of park at 24 Hammond at Marble Street.
And I will concur. Letter H, first extension of agreement to rehabilitate for property at 3924 Henry Street submitted for approval. Thank you.
Okay, I will make a recommendation to approve the extension of agreement to rehabilitate for property at 3924 Henry Street.
And I will concur. Number 10, old business. Letter A, status, no parking sign, 6800 Northcott.
Did I not send something to you? Okay, cool. So we reviewed the request by Kingdom Hall, who was at the meeting last week asking for, I guess it would be 2 weeks ago now because last week was the holiday, who had asked for no parking signs to be installed on Northcott along their property, so north of 169th Street. We looked at that, engineering department looked at that, it seemed very reasonable request, so I put a plan together that could be forwarded to Public Works for the installation of those signs if the board finds this to be acceptable.
So it's, in total, it's one block or two? Is it
I
several?
would
blocks?
say it's probably less than a
than one
block.
block, right?
Yeah, it's probably a half a block.
Okay.
Extended from 169th north along the west shoulder.
Gotcha.
They just have apparently people parking there on that side of the street, and it's a problem for them.
Okay.
So we get it over to Public Works.
For the signs to be, yeah.
I'll make a recommendation to get this forwarded to Public Works Department for the no parking signs at the 6800 block of Northcott.
And to approve it. And to approve
And
this,
to
yeah.
approve it.
And I will concur.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bunn. Okay, letter B, status First Baptist Church street closure. A couple weeks back, we had requested that First Baptist Church come before the board to explain exactly what they needed. The representative that was going to be here today is unfortunately sick, so they asked if their meeting with us could be next week, December 8th, and just need to get our approval, yeah.
Okay, all right, I will make a recommendation that we move the First Baptist Church street closure to next week's meeting, December 8th.
And I will concur. Thank you. Letter C, status for 4407 Baltimore. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I spoke with Inspector Luter. Him and myself inspected the property. He said that all they had to do was bring in their bond to make sure that they can get the rehab agreement going. So do you have the bond?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what he's saying.
A rehabilitation agreement should be rewarded for approval.
Yeah,
There also need to sign
I thought we talked about this, though. I thought we were gonna, it wasn't gonna be, it couldn't be rehabilitated, we thought.
Based on the findings from the building inspector and correspondence with, council, they decided to, as long as the gentleman produced the appropriate bond, they would give him an opportunity to work on the property.
The issue, the city thinks it's gonna be a hard row, but we're willing to give them a chance. So
Okay.
that's why there's been a rehab agreement prepared, it needs to be signed, the gentleman has apparently brought his bond, so.
You understand all that,
Yes.
sir?
Yes, sir.
And you're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just need to approve it, he needs to sign it today, correct?
Contingent upon his signature and approval of acceptance of the bond being provided and rehab.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll I'll make a recommendation that as long as the gentleman signs the bond, we will approve the agreement for rehabilitation.
You're good with that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sign the rehab agreement, submit the bond, and we can set this for status, about 2.5 months, see how progress is going.
Hold on here.
The January, February.
Middle of March, like the
I
16th?
think it'll be like mid-February.
Mid-February?
16th?
February 16th?
Wait, it's good for 90, this agreement's good for 90 days, so that's gonna be all of December, all of, yeah, so it'll be done at the end of February, so yeah, mid-February.
Mid-February? So we'll go with February 16th, is that okay? Does that date sound okay? Okay.
What date were you talking about, Linda?
There's just a completion date, Mr. President doesn't include that completion date.
Okay, so February 16th?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll set it for status for February 16th,
2023.
2023.
Yeah. Yeah, February 21st is the date, Linda, that I think you're looking for. So does it need, it's okay, right? Okay, gotcha. Okay, and I will concur. Thank you, sir. If you want to just wait till the meeting's over, you can sign today.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Number 11, rental registration hearings, 5909 Columbia Avenue. Morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
How you doing?
Morning.
Good.
Mr. Smith, here is the property owner of 5909 Columbia. It looks like he took over ownership March of 2021. The property was registered for 2021 by Mr. Smith. So it looks like we're here for a single-family home for 2022. The only other thing that I did notice is there is a full homestead claimed at 1038 Ames Street, which is your primary residence,
Yes.
correct? And then there's also a homestead being claimed at 5909 Columbia. So I would just request that Mr. Smith complete the form that I've prepared today so that we can have that submitted to the Lake County Auditor and have that adjusted as this is a rental income property and does not qualify for a homestead tag exemption.
Do you understand that part, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what happened, why it's late?
First-time homeowner or landlord, and I paid in 2021, I believe, and just forgot that it
Gotcha.
expired before April. So I should have paid it before April of this year,
Okay.
and I forgot.
Okay, just keep in mind going forward, we usually only grant this extension or dismissing the waiving the fees one time. So keep that, keep that in mind going forward.
won't happen
okay?
again.
I know, I'm sure it won't.
Okay, I'll make a recommendation that we waive the fee for 5909 Columbia Avenue
And require this.
and require that he signs the forms that need to be signed for the auditor.
Okay, and I will concur. Sir, you can pay the $5 at the end of today's meeting if you want to just hang around for a couple minutes,
Yeah,
okay?
no problem.
Okay, thank you. Okay, letter 12, or letter number 12. Meeting's open to the public. Would anybody like to speak? Nobody? Then I'll entertain a recommendation.
I'll recommend we adjourn the meeting.
And I'll concur. Thank you, everyone.